Wysteria, energy, twister. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and to the world of spirits. We're going to continue with our A's. We are now on the Amida Buddha. Obviously it's a classification of Buddha and Bosatsu. Is belief enough for salvation? The answer is affirmative, according to Amida Buddha. Amida is the Japanese name for Amitabha, who vowed to save without exception, even the lowest, most perverse, wicked person. Amida Buddha rescues souls and brings them to Pure Land, the Western paradise over which he presides. Calling the name of Amida Buddha in trust and devotion, especially at the moment of death, allegedly guarantees salvation and passage to the Pure Land. Amida heads an entourage of angels, spirits, to welcome believers into the Western paradise. Amitabha is the focus of what is known as Pure Land Buddhism, the belief that repetitive recitations of his name enables humans to reach the Pure Land after death, as opposed to going to hell or another less desirable realm, was first documented in China in approximately the 4th century CE. Although the tradition exists throughout the Buddhist world, it evolved differently, and controversially too in Japan. A Buddhist Pure Land tradition mingled and merged with traditional shamanism and Shinto to form an esoteric tradition called Nembutsu. Nembutsu evolved into a system by which one could not only save one's own soul, but could also send malevolent spirits and angry ghosts to Pure Land, purifying them and effectively banishing them in a kindly manner. Through magic and prayer, dangerous spirits and ghosts were not only banished and exorcised, but saved, sent to a better place, Amida's Pure Land. Women's traditional strong leadership roles in shamanism and Shinto were incorporated into Nembutsu, which was initially served not only by male priests, but also by itinerant, mendicant priestesses called utabikunai, singing nuns. During later crackdowns on Nembutsu, their spiritual associations were denied. Many became secular singers, others were gradually forced into prostitution, and the name utabikunai is now often used derisively. Theoretically, everyone is favoured by Amida, but Amida is also the special guardian of those born in the Chinese years of dog and pig. I'm dog, my way. Woof woof. The direction is northwest. The colour is red. Chant Amida's invocation or post the words, ideally in Sanskrit or Japanese, depending on tradition, but Amida is so kind that English may be sufficient too, to protect against ghosts and evil spirits. Chant just before death to enter the Western paradise. Namu Amida Butsu. Hail Amida Buddha, is what that means. The next is Amit, the eater, devourer of the dead, the eater of hearts, bone eater, devourer of millions, and greatness of death. Also known as Amit and Amut, obviously from Egypt. I'm sure you can tell by the name. The ancient Egyptians believed that after you died, your soul, or one of them, entered the divine hall of judgment, where your past deeds were examined, your heart was weighed. If you were found worthy, you entered the Western paradise. If you failed the test, Amit ate you, and your life was forever terminated. No eternal paradise for you. Amit sits beneath the scales of justice, like a dog waiting for food to fall from the table. Although usually depicted with a crocodile head, sometimes Amit sports a canine head. Those whom the infernal court finds lacking are promptly fed to Amit. She's a very neutral spirit. She does a job. eating, processing, eliminating wickedness, or just, I don't know, lack of goodness from the universe. She bears no grudge against anyone, she just wants to eat. There's no point in petitioning her or attempting to make deals. But the Egyptian Book of the Dead does actually contain spells that protect against her. She holds a position precisely because she is resistant to appeals. Amit bears a striking physical resemblance to Taweret. Her animals are the hippopotamus and the crocodile. She's also been called and been known to be called as Ma'at, Osiris, and Taweret. So whether they're companions of hers or in the same entourage, or whether that is actually her and her name has changed through the years, who knows? The next one is Ammon, the hidden one, Lord of Libyans, Lord of the setting sun and moon, the Time Lord, Earth Father, Giver of breath, Giver of life, Vizier of the humble, who answers the voice of the poor. Is also known as Ammon, Amun, Amen, and Ammon. His origin is Egypt, Libya, and obviously Nubia V to claim him, which means that they claim him also. Ammon is the Lord of the West, literally speaking. That means Libya, which lies on Egypt's western border. But from the perspective of ancient Egyptian cosmology, west indicates night, because the sun sets in the west, as well as the realm of death. Thus, Ammon controls the gates to the realms of night. He is the double lion of truth. Double lions indicate yesterday and tomorrow. Ammon was among the preeminent deities of ancient Egypt, a state-sponsored god. Pharaohs ruled by his grace. Hatshepsut claimed Ammon was her actual physical father. He had visited her mother, hence bestowing on her the right to rule. Her successor insisted that Ammon supported his role claim instead. When Ammon came into being, nothing existed but him. He is self-generated. He gave birth to himself. He is a Time Lord. He is an auricular spirit because he controls time, past and future. Ammon's most famous oracle was at the oasis of Siwa, variously in Egypt or Libya, depending on politics, known as early as 7000 BCE. When Alexander the Great arrived in Egypt in 331 BCE, among his first stops was Ammon's oracle to seek sacred confirmation of his title of King of Egypt. The oracle declared him to be of divine origin, pleasing and comforting Alexander immensely. Alexander never revealed the full prophecy he received, but continually sent generous offerings to his shrine. Ammon was so beloved, widely venerated, and influential for millennia that many different nations claimed him as their own. The general modern scholarly census is that he originated in Libya and maybe an indigenous Berber deity. However, he was adorned in ancient Nubia. Some suggest that, as his origination point, that could be Nubia. The Phoenicians loved him too. Clearly, Ammon was able to make himself at home among many cultures, philosophies, and peoples. He is an adaptable spirit, often seen in the company of other spirits. There are two sides to Ammon. The father of pharaohs was also the deity of the masses. He protects the rights of the poor in courts of law. In his path of Ammon of the roads, he protects travellers. He is a deity of oasis, both literal and metaphoric. Ammon provides sweetness, safety, and abundance amidst danger and deprivation. He manifests as a man, a ram, or a man with a ram's head. He may also manifest in the form of any of his sacred creatures. As the official Egyptian state deity, Ammon was depicted as a young prince wearing ostrich plumes and displaying a massive, erect phallus. Ammon had major temples in Luxor, Karnak, Thebes, the oasis at Siwa, also known as Sayar and Suwa, dotted with bubbling saltwater wells and freshwater springs, straddles the threshold of Egypt and Libya. He had shrines at other oases as well. In fact, many, to be fair, all over the different parts of Egypt. His sacred animals are ram, goose, bull, and snake. His colour and gemstone is lapis lazuli, so that means a nice cool blue colour, guys. He does have certain spirit allies, but they usually do come in a large entourage. This includes Thoth, also the Theban triad, the Mut and Khonsu. In his Nubia image, he has Amontat, he has Amadepmak, but he also has Isis, Horus. So, Tefnut even. So he has many spirits in his whole entourage. He's very, very popular. His elements is water, earth, air, wind, breath, obviously. Offerings. Offer him incense or one of the several perfumes named in his honour. He's an interesting one, quite like him. So the next is Amonet, the mother who is father. She does have other names that she was known by. Amunet was known as Amaunet, Ament, Imentet, Amentat. One spirit merged into the primordial past, incorporating both male and female genders. Eventually, it split into two, with Amon as the male spirit and Amonet as the female, so it's a female version of the one we've just done. She's usually described as his female counterpart, but he could just as easily be described as a male counterpart. Amonet possesses the same powers as Amon, and she will manifest as a snake-headed woman, usually a cobra. So he does have a feminine and a masculine side. I like that too. The next one is Amphitrite. Amphitrite. Loud moaning is what that means, guys. Take that as you will. The origin is Greek, and okay, so I'm going to have to give a warning before I say this. It may be triggering for some people if you do not like anything to do with rape. If you are triggered by stories that involve that, please do not listen from this moment forth, okay? Trigger warning. If you are triggered by stories of rape, please do not listen from this point forward. Turn it off. That being said, Amphitrite. The Greek goddess Amphitrite is the mistress and owner of the Mediterranean. Poseidon saw her dancing with the Nereids on the Isle of Naxos, and unfortunately, he raped her. He then wanted to marry her, making the relationship permanent. She fled to the western end of her territory, allegedly taking shelter with Atlas or Oceanus, who may be her father. Bear in mind, back then, goddesses wanted to stay pure. They wanted to keep their virginity. They did not want anything like that. Delphin, a dolphin spirit, spied on her, revealing her hiding place to Poseidon, who begged her to marry him. Ultimately, it was the dolphin who persuaded her to emerge. As her consort, Poseidon is king of the sea. Their marriage is ambivalent, like Zeus. Poseidon is perpetually unfaithful. Unlike Hera, Amphitrite takes this in stride. In many ways, Amphitrite is the water counterpart of Hera. Crabs are sacred to both goddesses. Amphitrite does not spend much time on Olympus, preferring to stay in her own realm. She'll manifest as a beautiful woman with an elaborate hairdo. She may wear a hairnet and lavish jewellery. As befitting someone who spends most of the time in water, she doesn't usually wear a lot of clothes. She may sport horns in the form of crab claws, or wear a crab headdress. Amphitrite often holds one hand in a pinching gesture like a crab. She is attributed to the golden spindle. Amphitrite lives in a golden palace at the bottom of the sea. Technically, all sea creatures, but especially crustaceans, fish, seals, and dolphins, and crab, all serve as her messengers and are very sacred to her. Her number is number 3. And that covers the next part of our wonderful spirits. Of course, like I say, remember when we did the fairies, and remember that fairy simply means otherworldly being. There will be some of those fae in here, and they will be told in a very different light to what you might think they are. So yeah, did the names just change over time? It's very possible. It's very possible that with a lot of the goddesses, fairies, and spirits, they're all just one particular one by several different names. Thank you for listening to this part. Please hit that like, a share if you can, and if you've not yet subscribed, then please consider doing so. And if you could just help me out by leaving a good comment underneath, it really does help the algorithm for the video. Thank you so much, and many blessings.
Wysteria, energy, twister.